Alright, so last time we just reviewed on the art, which I realized it's not a very good basis on creature accuracy, but anyways, enjoy. Alright, so last time we just reviewed on the art, which I realized it's not a very good basis on creature accuracy, but anyways, enjoy. So anyways, the Triceratops from Jurassic Park builder, ignoring the colors obviously, is okay, but it looks a little bit stubby, and as well as that, its forelimbs are not sprawled out like a lizard. Dilophosaurus's head, of course, is too big to its proportion, its body size. Velociraptor is just that scaly raptor from Jurassic Park. Carcharodontosaurus, of course, its head seems like it's a little bit thick. And its arms over here, obviously they're pronated, but what can you expect from a Jurassic Park game? Ceratosaurus looks like the one from Jurassic Park. Baryonyx is outdated, looks a little bit like Suchomimus actually. Pachycephalosaurus is fine. Ankylosaurus, its osteoderms, like I said, were too spiky. Brachiosaurus, aka the Brachiostegosaurus, looks like the one from Jurassic Park, and it's also green, of course. And it looks like a Giraffe Titan. Compy's head is way too big for its Jurassic Park counterpart. Parasaurolophus, I now just realized its head. Gosh, its head is a bit off by the looks of it. Spinosaurus is just Jurassic Park 3 Spino. Ironically enough, they did a much better job with Allosaurus in Jurassic Park Builder than in Jurassic World the game 3 years later. There is a reason why Game Beaver called this guy Gormless. Again, Torosaurus's head is just too chunky. Pteranodon looks like a pteranodon. Troodon does not exist. Gallimimus is outdated. Pterodactylus is just Pteranodon but smaller. Actually, Camarasaurus 1, its neck makes it look more like a brachiosaur. And 2, of course, I mentioned its head being a little bit too elongated. Kodak moment! Chewbacca lizard, aka Corythosaurus. I mentioned that before. Now that we briefly went through every single bronze and silver, we're going to be starting to go through gold ones, starting with the Iguanodon, and the Iguanodon looks a little bit childish. Its limbs should be longer, of course, especially its forelimbs. Not hind limbs, by the way. Its hind limbs are fine. And its head should be a little bit smaller to the body proportions, as well as that, the neck. I can't really tell if the Iguanodon has a neck problem or doesn't have the head problem, but either way, this isn't entirely accurate, although I'll probably let that slide, given that this is made in 2011. Suchomimus, aka Flamethrower, is next. It's awesome bro looking. It's probably outdated, by the way. Ouranosaurus, despite having the stego rig, is ironically more accurate looking than the one in Jurassic World Alive. This is a more accurate looking Ouranosaurus. Of course, I'm using DeviantArt stuff, so they may not be the most reliable, but they're probably a little bit more than Wikipedia. I don't know. But anyways, this Ouranosaurus, it looks a little bit weird over here. Its head should be a little bit elongated. And as well as that, its forelimbs also look a little bit weird because it uses a stego rig. From what I've seen, 2011 Tapejara is supposed to have a little bit more, the crest is supposed to look a little bit more different. It's supposed to be more behind, I guess. If that's how you word it, really. You know, this one over here, Tyrannosaurus, there's nothing to talk about here. Besides its head, of course, everything else is fine. Its head is a little bit big. Edmontosaurus, unfortunately, does not have that characteristic duck beak. These arms should also look more like hooves and not actually sprawled out. I feel like the Salpatosaurus looks way too T-Rexy. Like, it's supposed to look a bit thinner, of course. Its head. Its head is the main problem here. Its arms, like it's actually supposed to have 2 fingers. This is the most up-to-date Albertosaurus, though. The one that has feathers. But even without feathers, they had 2 digits instead of 3, which they got wrong. And if someone were to try to differentiate this from actual other Tyrannosaurs, no one would be able to deduce what this thing is. And before we move on to whatever the next one is, the Eutyrannus is, its feathers are just not, arranged like that. I'm sorry. Whatever the 2011 model is, you know, this is cool, but it's not accurate. And here comes the Rajasaurus, or whatever this abomination is. Oh my god, this is horrible! Even Gaming Beaver pointed out the Rajasaurus is supposed to have a more narrow head, instead of whatever T-Rex head they gave it. Look at this monstrosity, just slapped in the T-Rex rig on the Rajasaurus and everything just went to dog crap. Ironically enough, this over here probably showed that the Rajasaurus actually had a narrow head. In stark contrast to whatever this T-Rex hybrid is. This is properly rage-inducing, no wonder why it's called Rage. I forgot to mention that for an Abelisaurus, Rajasaurus' arms were way too big, when in fact Abelisaurus had puny arms. And this translates to Condorsaurus extremely well, as you can see. No, this is not how Abelisaurus work. Shinosaurus looks like Shinosaurus, I'm not gonna complain. Okay, if you look down below in this Brontosaurus, its legs are just, oh my god, why are they so freaking thin? As well as that, it's, whatchamacallit, its neck, its head part, it should look a little bit more like this. As you can see, its head is a bit small, and its neck, of course, is a little bit more chunky. So, a little bit more like an Apatosaurus. And this is the quote-unquote Giganotosaurus! Oh my god. Oh my god. What even is this madness? What even is this? Why did they give it a T-Rex brig? T-Rex was supposed to be unique. Like, what happened to the freaking Giga, man? Did they base the poor Giga off of this monstrosity? Oh my god. Sorry, whoever made this. It should have a much more Carcharodontosaur-like head. That means it's supposed to be much more narrow and more elongated. Its arms should be a little bit longer as well. But the thing they got correct is that Giganotosaurus, aka Gigabyte, has 3 fingers on 1 digit. Okay. At least it's better than having 3 fingers on no digits. Yeah, I can declare this model being much worse than whatever abomination Jurassic Park Builder turned out. The fact that Jurassic Park Builder made such an insane Giganotosaurus, quote-unquote, that is still better than the one made, like, I don't know, 2 years later. This is just mind-boggling to see. Despite no demarcation of the boss from that's characteristic of Pachyrhinosaurus, it still looks better than the one in Jurassic Fight Club. Take notes, guys. And unfortunately, this Amargasaurus does not look like an Amargasaurus. The Amargasaurus's neck over here, it should have those spines sticking out. As well as that, its neck looks a bit more like an Apatosaur instead of being short-necked. Utahraptor, at least they bothered to give it feathers, unlike the one from Jurassic World the game, where they got the feather proportions much worse. Feather alignment. Dryosaurus. I can really only find one problem with Dryosaurus. Its head, of course. Its head should be more round and it's supposed to be much smaller. That's pretty much it. Stego's head is a bit big, but outside that, there's nothing really to complain about. And Nosatoceratops' horns look like a freaking bull. Oh no. Ironically enough, its nose is fine. Its horns are the problem here. As you can see here, these are definitely much more much less facing each other. T-Rex's head is big, of course, even for Jurassic Park standards. Why is it smaller than the Albertosaurus, or at least shorter than it? Indominus Rex just looks sloppy. That's all I can say, really. Euplocephalus' arm, armor looks off a little bit more like this, as you can see. And finally, the dude out of every Jurassic creature in the game, quote unquote, with the highest velocity, with 1299, Dreadnoughtus. Dreadnoughtus is just, how do I explain this? Obviously, the main problem with the neck is supposed to be much more chunky, as well as that, its head, as you can see here, its nose part is a little bit elongated too. And that's pretty much it. Obviously, there are quite a few inaccuracies, especially this massive thing, this abomination of a Rajasaurus. Everything else is okay, I guess. You know, it's based off Jurassic Park / Jurassic World, so I didn't expect much from the beginning. Of course, this video is made just for fun, so please don't take my words seriously. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all in the next one.